ITIL4, the latest edition of the popular service management framework, has now been released. And I'm often asked these days when an updated ITIL4 edition of our ITIL process map will be available. The problem, or opportunity, depending on how you see it, is that ITIL4 no longer defines a specific set of processes that we can translate into templates. But organizations surely need to define their processes also in the new world of ITIL4. So today I want to elaborate a bit on how we can provide process templates for ITIL4. Let's first recap that ITIL v3 was organized around the service lifecycle and defined 26 processes. These processes could be translated into the process templates that we provide as the ITIL process map. So things were quite straightforward with ITIL v3. With ITIL4, the situation is somewhat more complicated, because there are no process definitions. As its authors say, ITIL4 takes a holistic approach and focuses on end-to-end service management from demand to value. The key components of the new ITIL4 are the 4 dimensions model and the ITIL service value system. The service value system includes several elements: guiding principles, governance, service value chain, practices, and continual improvement. I cannot explain all of these elements in this short video, but we're going to take a closer look at the ITIL4 practices, because it is here where we find many familiar processes from ITIL v3, such as continual improvement, incident management, or service level management. At first sight, this collection of practices seems to be an expanded version of the 26 service lifecycle processes in ITIL v3, and one might think organizations are now supposed to implement 34 processes. But that's not the case, because quite a few practices are not processes. Here's an example. The ITIL4 practice of organizational change management addresses the human side of change. It's about engaging with those stakeholders affected to ensure that changes go smoothly. These techniques can be applied in many situations, and most organizations would not treat this as a process. So not everything contained in ITIL4 is a process. But of course organizations need to define and implement their processes, otherwise how would they function? Now the question is, can we provide process templates for ITIL4? I think this is quite possible, because there is still a common set of service management processes that most organizations will need. And for these processes it is entirely feasible to create templates. We even have more options now, because ITIL4 is not prescriptive about processes. First, we don't necessarily need to dump the ITIL v3 processes. As Axeler states, the earlier ITIL v3 processes are still valid guidance, and we will continue offering our ITIL v3 2011-based ITIL process map. Second, ITIL4 now says we should keep things simple and practical, so there is now an opportunity for a fresh start with a leaner set of service management processes. The point is, the processes of an organization should not be difficult to understand, and it should be easy to adapt the processes to the specific needs of the organization. In fact, we have already started to offer a streamlined set of processes, and we call it the YaSM process map. The YaSM model is in tune not only with ITIL, but also with other modern service management frameworks and approaches, such as YaSM, FitSM, and SIAM. The benchmark for the YaSM processes is ISO 20000, the international standard for service management. So YaSM is perfect for organizations that want to get certified against ISO 20000. And here's what the YaSM process model looks like. We ensured it has a streamlined, clear structure with 5 service lifecycle processes and a number of supporting service management processes. These processes will certainly look familiar to you if you know any edition of ITIL or other service management frameworks. For every YaSM process we provide detailed templates, so you don't have to start from nothing when defining your service management processes. If you have another minute or two, I can show you what these templates look like and how they compare with ITIL. The first example is incident management. It's a process in ITIL v3 and a practice in ITIL4. In the YaSM model, we have an incident management process with the typical high-level activities such as resolve major incidents, resolve incidents in first-level support, and resolve incidents in second-level support. For each of these sub-processes, the YaSM model contains an additional level of detail in the form of a swim lane diagram. This one, for example, describes the activities to be performed in first-level support. After an initial analysis, they should search the knowledge base, match the incident to a problem if possible, and so on. This is classical incident management as we know it from ITIL, ISO 20000, and virtually all other service management frameworks. My second example is service design, the service lifecycle stage in ITIL4. In ITIL4, service design is a practice and a key activity in the service value chain. ITIL4 says service design is made up of several processes, such as design coordination, service level management, availability management, capacity management, and so on. Service design in ITIL4 is no longer a web of processes, but a collection of key activities, such as plan for new or changed services, produce service requirements and specifications, and identify the required service components. In the YaSM model, we translate this guidance into a streamlined service design process. If we zoom in a little, you can see that designing a service in YaSM is quite straightforward. It involves defining the required service properties, designing the required infrastructure, outlining the implementation approach, and preparing the service implementation. Again, we have an additional level of detail for each sub-process in the form of a swim lane diagram, such as this one describing the recommended steps for designing the required infrastructure for a service. Identify the required infrastructure and other capabilities, specify the required modifications to the technical infrastructure and to the external supporting services, and so on. I hope you will agree that this is much easier to understand than the complex web of service design processes we had in ITIL4. So the choice is yours. You can go with our ITIL4 process map or use our streamlined YaSM model. To learn more about YaSM and the YaSM process map, please visit yasm.com. There you will also find our complete contact information if you want to get in touch with us. Thanks for watching and take care.